Irashaimase! Hello and welcome to Fataris' Kitchen. I'm your host, Chef Fataris. It's time once again for Shoot 'em Up Saturday, and on the menu this week we have Sky Kid, a 1985 arcade classic. What kind of taste will it have? Let's get cooking and find out. From developer Namco, Sky Kid originally released to arcades in December of 1985. It would see ports to the NES, and now, fast forward to current, it's available for the PlayStation 4 and the Nintendo Switch, which is the version we're looking at today, courtesy of Hamster as part of their Arcade Archive collection. So this one is a relatively simple, straightforward Namco shoot 'em up. It's one that I feel has a really satisfying gameplay loop though. So if you're looking for classic arcade action that's a little bit on the difficult side but has a satisfying gameplay loop and a good chance to increase your skill and push for higher scores, I think this might be a title that you'd be interested in. So let's dive into the gameplay and we'll show off the game in two-player mode so you can decide if it's something you're interested in. So we play the role of the Red Baron and the Blue Max. Red Baron is of course player 1 and Blue Max is player 2. Our gameplay is relatively straightforward and simple. We have the ability to shoot, which you can do straightforward or angled up or down, and you can also loop. In addition to that, it's possible to pick up a bomb, which the Blue Max did, and then the goal with the bomb is to destroy the particular targets that the game sets as your mission. After completing that, the desire is to have a nice landing, and if you don't, the plane just keeps on flying, you run out of fuel, and it's game over. Then, well, not game over so much, you lose a life. Then you continue to repeat that loop and take off on different stages, with the stages getting progressively more difficult. You'll encounter more and harder enemies, you'll encounter additional targets, so instead of just one, we'll have multiple mission or targets that we have to bomb for our mission, and it just continues to loop that way through a total of 21 stages. So in the event that you happen to get hit by an enemy, you'll end up going into a tailspin. If you button mash fast enough, you'll be able to pull yourself out of that tailspin, but a lot of times things are kind of crazy on screen that way, and it'll be difficult to survive regardless. So that's a successful target hit by player 2. So one thing that's kind of nice about playing the game with two players is you'll end up, if you happen to hit a midpoint, you'll end up being able to, the second player can spawn in if they've lost, or the first player, and they can still continue the mission. You can finish it in one go, which is definitely satisfying. And that's basically what we have here as far as Sky Kid is concerned. There are some fun Easter eggs throughout the course of the gameplay. Oh, one thing we haven't explained is it's possible to use the second player to actually help a player that happens to be in a tailspin. So if you're noticing, when you get shot by another player's shot, your plane will spin. If you're in a tailspin, it's possible to use that. Not a bad example there, but it's possible to use that to pull yourself out of the tailspin without having to button mash. So it's one of the advantages of playing in a two-player game. So as far as the minus flavors for Sky Kid, the game itself actually has a relatively difficult gameplay loop, where the first couple stages start off simple, but then once you get to mission 4 in particular and beyond, things start getting difficult quite quickly. There's difficult terrain to navigate around, the enemy patterns and the enemy shots are coming at you fast and furious, and you'll end up having multiple targets you have to bomb. But that challenge is part of what does interest me in this title, is you could take the time to get better and better at it and just aim for higher scores. And that is one thing that's always satisfying about the Arcade Archives, is you have the ability to challenge yourself against higher and higher scores on the leaderboards. As far as the plus flavors are concerned, so the game itself it has just that satisfying gameplay loop of start a stage, get a bomb, hit your targets, end a stage. And I just really like the way that the gameplay is laid out. In addition to that, it's a really solid port, and one thing that I don't always show off, in this one in particular, I really like the little marquee imagery that they have in the game, where you've got the controls like presented to show you the various commands. I really do appreciate seeing this classic art. And then that's the last plus flavors. It just has that good classic arcade feel that I feel Namco does an excellent job getting right. Well, that'll just about wrap it up for this week's episode of Shoot 'em Up Saturday. As always, I want to thank you so much for joining us this week. I hope you have a wonderful week, and we'll see you next time.